Hello everybody, happy Friday on a beautiful September day. I think fall's starting to come. So this is of course another free Facebook Live with paint and cocktails. Cheers. Some coconut rum, very nice. We'll be starting instructions in about 1 minute time. So I just thought I'd come on a little bit early just to let everybody know I'm here and to see the painting we're doing. I'll be discussing that in just a minute. So we'll wait just 1 more minute before we start the real instructions. I'll have another sip of my cocktail. Yeah, that's good. And we have my wife, Susan Parker, helping with chat. Please check in. Let everybody know where you're coming from. We are based here in Kitchener, Ontario, where today has been a beautiful day. Weekend's meant to be even nicer. So let me know where you're from. Hi, Sheila. You have to pay this one later? No problem. The video will be up, well, for a long time. It'll be available for everybody on our group page to access. This is our whimsical tree painting, and by very nature that it's meant to be whimsical, you get to have some fun with it. As always, you don't have to copy me exactly. I will be painting this painting, but you get to do what you like. We call it fun art, not fine art, so have some fun with it. We are using acrylic paints. I do recommend using acrylic paints, not oils. You like it to dry pretty quickly, not about a month's time, which oils can be. So these are our basic colors today. Of course, my foam plate ready to go. We have a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red, sploosh of blue, sploosh of black, and a bigger sploosh of white. We're doing a bit of white to finish off the tops and the bottom. The bottom here, is this like meant to be a sunset? Yeah, it could be. Do you like it? Great, keep it. If you don't, cover it up. It's all good. This is, again, your chance to be creative. 3 brushes. These are the standard brushes I use. Big, medium, and little. The 3 wise brushes. Or sometimes I like to use a bigger brush. A little wider than that one, just to help with the background. Your choice. Well, why don't you go ahead, get your plates covered with your splooshes of paint. Get a cup of water. That's water. And some napkins, paper towel, pinch. That's to be used to clean your brushes. As always, please remember that acrylic paints will get on your fingers, no problem. You can scrub them off. Be careful of your clothing. I always wear an apron. Still, my clothing's got splashes of paint. If you notice the paint right away on your clothing, get to some warm water, scrub it off. It will come off. If you don't notice it till the morning, it won't. As you can see in this apron, it's been washed, 500 times, but the paint stays. So just be careful. If it falls on a hard surface, it will scrub off. No problem. When it's time to clean your brushes, I'll be telling you when to change brushes, when to clean your brushes. Cleaning your brushes, big tip, remember, scrub right to the bottom of your cup. Scrub, 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 tap, 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 tap. You don't want to transfer dirty water to the canvas. Just tap, tap, tap. And to clean is to use your napkin, scrub, scrub both sides. Dab, 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 scrub, scrub, dab, 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 dab. The more you do that, the cleaner it will come. You don't need to have fresh water every time you clean your brush. You just need to make sure that you do lots of dabbing on your napkins. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to paint alongside of you. I'll try and move out the way so you can see it as I go along. If you have any questions, please use your chat. Let me know where you are. and we'll get going. So we're going to start with the background as always. We always start with the background, and the technique I like to use is the crosshatch or the little X. I get paint on both sides of my brush, eventually, and then I'll be using this technique like this. One side of the brush, then the other. I find for me, I like that. It covers very quickly. And we want to move always fairly a little quickly with acrylic paints because it dries so fast. And in addition, it leaves a nice texture. I personally like this texture it leaves. The layers of different shades of coloring, for me, it works great. For you, it's all good, whatever you want to do. You want to paint like that, you want to paint like that, that's all good too. This is the way I like to paint. So I'm going to just wet the brush, tap it off, and I'm going to make a light blue color as my initial background. So I grab a little bit of the blue on my brush, and I'm going to put that right into the corner of some white, both sides of the brush. Kind of stir in place. I don't spread it all over the plate. Just kind of stir in place, and if you look at my brush, it's really marbly. It's got light blue, dark blue, and white all on it. That's perfect for me. I like that texture. And here I go. I'm going to start crisscrossing hatch, X making, covering all the canvas. But what we are going to do is make some space for the lighter colors. So I'm not going to paint the light blue yet there. I'm going to paint around that. And I will just cover up the entire canvas in different shades of blue, because every time I go and refresh my brush, it's going to give me another shade. X, 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 cross hatch, X's everywhere. And as always, the trick to a lovely painting is the layering of the colors, layering of the shades of, let's say our blue, we're going to throw some darker blue on in a bit. Layering of different colors, layering of the same colors. That's what makes a lovely painting. So as you can see right now, I'm getting that crosshatch look. I'm going to add a little bit more blue into my puddle of blue I have on the go, and it's changed the shade. See that? Now, I'm not going to leave it just like that. I want to lightly, very light touch using just the bristles to start blending some of that in, so that it blends in nicely, and then I can press a little harder to get that shade going again, and then as I'm blending, I lift off from the canvas a little bit using the tips of the bristles to blend. Okay, so most of my brush is gone there. I'm going to grab a little bit more blue, put it into that puddle. It's going to change the color again a little bit. And I will layer some darker and then some lighter color in a little bit. You see how quickly that takes? Doesn't take long at all. Using this X style, not only does it help cover the canvas quickly, and it gives it the texture as well that I like. So all I'm doing is rolling my wrist to get those X's going. Now, if you want to get fancy, if you want to get really fancy, you can do that color along the outside edges too. It's a nice way to finish off your painting. That's a little darker, I like that. Again, feather it in to the wet paint around the edges. Refresh. A bit more blue in there, the puddle I have on the go. Throw some dark in there. A bit more blue. Some puddle. See that? Doesn't take long. Alright, I think I'm going to lighten up again for the corner. So a bit more white into my puddle. A lighter blue. Blend it into what I've done already. And then as I'm blending, I'm not pressing so hard. I'm using the tips of the bristles of the brush to do the work. You may have noticed there's a white patch here. That's where my hand is. I don't feel like painting my hand today. So you can paint, because I'm standing up holding the canvas. But this is usually what happens when I teach standing up. There's a gap. Okay, I'm going to add a little more dark blue to my brush, and I'm going to paint some dark in the middle here. Put some texture. More. And again, the reason we're kind of moving fast is because acrylic paint is notorious for drying fast, which is both a good and a bad thing when you want to blend. Blend some in the middle, a little darker. Alright. We've got dark and light all going on there at the same time. And again, you can do your edges. Now I'm not cleaning my brush. I'm just going to dip it straight into the white. And I'm going to paint the top part. That covers that gap I left there. We're going to add some more white in a bit. Let's spread this out a little bit. And I'm not going to do blue down here. So when you've done that far, pretty much got the background done, I'm going to clean my brush because now I just want to add some white here and some white here in a while. I want this to be drier. Remember, it's good to blend colors when the paint's still wet. If we want to really layer on top, we want it to be at least tacky dry, not sopping wet dry. So now I'm going to put down my canvas and I will clean my brush. And that water turns a beautiful Bahamian blue. And now comes the cleaning on the napkin. Ta-da. Okay, so I'm going to just get some fresh white on my brush. Paint this white for the moment. I'm going to layer that with some color in a bit. And not quite ready yet. I can still see it's a little too shiny for that middle part. I'm going to wait about a minute and say hi to everybody. I hope your week's been fine. Welcome back after a long weekend. And we're hopefully going to have some nicer weather this weekend. For sure. So I'm just going to hold this closer for you. With that nice cloudy effect, sky effect going on. Blend some of this here. Put some blue in there now. Got rid of the gap. Brush. I'm going to try and throw some white on top of here. Yep, let's That's nice. Fresh white. All right. Now we're going to let the background dry. The background's done as far as I'm concerned, except for the yellow here. To let this dry a little bit before we do that. Put some yellow and some orange as if it's a setting sun. Or, again, if you don't like that, you want to change that up, just make it all blue or some reflective white as matches the top. You're welcome to do that too. Just going to wait that just a little bit longer to dry before we work on the tree. Now the tree's done in black, so it doesn't have to be perfectly dry because the black paint always wins. Covers everything. So I try a little yellow. We're going to try and do a bit of a sunsetty effect here. Now as you go across your blue, if it's wet, it's going to turn green. A little bit of red into a corner of yellow. Mush it around a little bit, and it becomes orange. And a light touch to blend. Just using the tips of the brush just to blend that in. And I'm going to finish, clean my brush. I'm going to finish with some white border. White is the great equalizer. The white paint softens everything. If you have too much of a harsh line you're not happy with, the white paint just blends that all away, softens it all up, and it pastels things nicely too. Yeah, I like that. Big brush into the water. Now we're going to let this dry for about a minute or two. I'm just going to put that down before we work on the tree. We'll be switching to a medium-sized brush to do the tree. All right. And so just a bit of shameless promotion. We, of course, are still no longer doing restaurant events, but we do private events. We come to your home, your backyard, a venue that you've booked. We do corporate events, and we do virtual online events using either Facebook Live, Zoom, Google Meets, or WebEx, whatever your company prefers to use. And we are already starting to get busy again for September. Most of our weekends are booked, and some of our midweek, we have some lovely large corporate parties to do. So if you are interested, please contact me at info@paintandcocktails.com. You can also find that on our Facebook page, and we will communicate about conducting a private party for you. All right. And yes, everything's sanitized, and social distancing is required. So I'm looking at the light here. Look at that. Look. Dry. So let's work on the tree. Now, there's a trick to doing trees and branches. We're going to use this brush. I'm going to use the very tip of it vertically. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to smush this brush into some black paint along the back side, using both sides of the brush, and then I'm going to scrape off on the side so that I get a nice flathead screwdriver effect. on the brush. So it's very thin. That's a thinner line you can get using this brush. So it's good to start off with a nice light touch, and when we reach the end of wherever it is we want to go, we gently lift off the brush from the canvas. So if we're doing a tree, we just don't go up and stop, because that leaves a very flat end to the trunk or to the branch. As we're going along, we just lift off from the canvas when we've decided to end. Now in this tree is a whimsical tree, and so the branches curl. So we actually, as we're painting along, we're going to roll the brush around like that to make those curls. Curlicues. But to start with, we're going to start at the bottom, just draw a line up and find whatever height you want to come to an end to do your tree. So I'm just going to add some paint because it probably dried while we were talking. Find a spot wherever you want to put it is fine, doesn't have to be on the side. And just go up, 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 over a bit, round, curl around. Start of a whimsical tree. We will fill in with more black paint in a little bit. I'm going to make the trunk a little wider from the other side. And come up, 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 up. And let's finish off around this way. Ooh. Like that. And then we can add up here. Using a small brush, of course, we always have to refresh quite often. And then we can come up here. So now we're going to start thickening up these branches. Just go around top again to fill in. And as we come into the trunk, just press a little harder to widen the branch. Widen the brush, and it widens the branch. So a light touch gives you a nice thin line. A little thicker touch gives you a thicker line. As you come down, I'm going to thicken that up. You can fill in this tree. Now, at the moment, we're just going to be coloring in, just using black. This is the part most people love, just coloring in black. It's so easy to do. And we'll be adding some more branches in a minute. Nice and light. As we come closer, we're just going to press a little harder, showing those branches up. Okay. Pretty whimsical right now. Now we can add branches anywhere we like. Let's start at the bottom here. Now you see on this one we put a cat, we've hung something like a bird feeder. So you can make room to do cats if you want. So I always like to start vertically. I move up a little bit and then I go along. I gently curl to a curly cue, rolling the brush. And where the branch leaves the trunk, you can see it looks a little flimsy. I'm just going to fill that in to make it a little stronger. And you can do on this side. Start off vertically, go to the right, come up a little bit, curl the brush around. Refresh the brush with paint, and where the branches left the trunk, I like to fill that in so that it's got some structure to it. And we can put another branch here. And where the branch left the trunk, fill it in. Put another one here. Maybe curl this one down. And maybe another one here. And again, thicken up just where it left. Well, there's the basis of my whimsical tree. Now we can add more and more and more. So I'm going to again refresh the brush, scrape off the sides to get the nice thin line. And I'm going to add some extensions. Just some decorations, or even fawn-like, I suppose. You could also add extra branch curlicues. As many or as few as you want. But we can add just light touch little extensions. Again, the trick is when you're ready to end whatever length of branch you're doing, to gently remove it from the canvas so you get a nice pointy end. A little swish and flick going on. Nice light touch. I need some on this side too. I forgot this side. Very much like a Dr. Seuss tree, isn't it? Little flick here, little flick there. I like. All right. Then we have a basis for a whimsical tree. You can make this your own. Again, you don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing. I'm finished with this medium brush. The next fun part I like to do is using the small brush, the base of it. I'm going to dip it in white. And this is where I make the fireflies. I like to do them from this side and bring them around like this. So this you'll have to refresh quite often. So we just start doing some dots, dip, dots, Some light touches, some heavier touches. These are the fireflies as they come around. I'm going to loop them behind the tree. Lots of dots. Dot, 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 dot. I'll bring them up this side and bring them around like this. If you want to use yellow as well, you can. Lots of refreshing. The base of the brush doesn't hold much paint. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to loop them around. Lots of refreshing. You can leave it like that, or you can curl them in any old way you want to add. You want to do some in yellow, because there are often yellow fireflies. You can do that too. And sometimes I've seen this done. I will do it as well in just a second. When I finish my yellow. Just clean that off with a napkin. You don't need to put that in the water. And some black dots, almost like henna, around the curlicues of the tree. Can make a nice look too. And you're going to get 3 or 4 dots from the base of the brush. And there you got yourself a whimsical tree. So I'm not sure where you're all at, but this video will be up. I'll keep it up probably permanently on this group site, and you can watch it at your leisure, and you can of course make any additions you want, change it in any way you like. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, hi from Carousel again. Sorry you didn't make it on time. No problem. As I mentioned, the video is going to be here, and you can join in at your leisure. Thank you guys for joining me once again on our Paint Night Friday, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye everybody.